First of all, can I thank the Leader of the Labour Party, Deputy Eamon Gilmore, for bringing forward this motion. And I do hope that the Government have the good sense to accept it. We face many challenges in this country, none more essential than in the area of energy. Oil prices have now reached a record of $140 a barrel, 40% increase since Christmas. Commuters, road hauliers going to the forecourt feel that they're being mugged now in relation to the costs that they're facing. Petrol up nearly 7% in 1 month alone, and the cost of diesel has jumped by 30% in 9 months. And meanwhile, when it's raised in here by people like myself, Minister Ryan throws up his hands and says he can do nothing about prices, but that he is doing something about increasing renewables and reducing our reliance on oil. But whatever about the first statement, there is a question mark over the second statement that he keeps making. To ensure that we tackle our energy needs and also that we meet our climate change proposals, we need, frankly, less speeches and more science from the Minister for Energy. We in the Labour Party support his drive to ensure that renewables play a greater part in energy generation. That's why we're so disappointed in his dismal failure to introduce the new tariff scheme, for example, on offshore wind, which he announced with great fanfare in January, but which hasn't materialised. The $4 billion that was to be spent by the private sector, none of it has materialised. And what we get essentially is speeches about climate change. We still have enormous, almost 90% dependence on fossil fuels, and the record of broken promises in relation to our CO2 emissions is simply getting longer. What we're looking for is a strategic approach from the government on energy. The Labour Party has published a fuel poverty strategy legislation, and we ask the government to take that and bring it into this House, and we'll debate it. Because today's report from Sustainable Energy Ireland shows that fuel poverty is a real and growing phenomenon in our society. Already 145,000 households are experiencing fuel poverty. Electricity bills are going to go up by up to 20%, gas bills are going to go up by up to something the same. People this winter, old people in particular, will not be able to keep themselves warm. And we know already that many die as a consequence of that lack of protection. In Northern Ireland, there's a fuel poverty strategy in place, not in the Republic. In Britain, there's a fuel poverty strategy in place, not here in the Republic. If we cannot look after those most vulnerable people, there is something at the heart of government that isn't working, and we need to address that in this House and not allow the government to simply go on holidays. I don't think that it's the case, and some people say, well, the Green ministers, you know, they're more interested in saving the planet rather than concerned about the people. I can't believe that's true. But I do think that there is a blinkered approach from government now, because ministers are so cocooned, they really have no understanding of how difficult it is for ordinary people to cope with these rising bills. All the evidence is that that is going to continue unless we see a new approach from the government, a strategic approach to ensure that fuel poverty is tackled, that there is a fast tracking of renewables, that we have a carbon fund using possibly the additional funding that's come in VAT, or indeed the windfall that electricity generation has at the moment in terms of funding. I would just finish off by saying that this government has got a responsibility to work hard to deal with the challenges that face us now as a society. And that can't be done behind closed doors. It must be done in open. It must be done in a way that is democratic. Part of the concerns people had in relation to the Lisbon Treaty was that somehow it was an erosion of democracy. We hold democracy dear. Let's see it work in this House this year at this time.
Thank you.